Hello students, welcome to today's lecture. So in today's lecture, we'll start with unit number 1, that is the signals and spectra of principles of communication system. And the topic of today's discussion is introduction to communication system. So before starting with our actual topic, let's have a quick review of the topics or the learning objectives of today's lecture. So first we are going to discuss about the introduction to communication system, then analog and digital message, baseband and bandpass signals, and finally we are having a discussion on regenerative repeaters. So before starting with the actual discussion, one must know what is a communication system means. So actually what is a communication? So the transfer of information from one place to another place using some sort of medium is called as a communication, and the information could be in form of sound or visual or any other form. So that is a generalized definition of a communication. So whenever we are transferring a information from one place to another is called through a medium, then it is called as a communication. So there are basically two types of communication. First one is baseband communication and the second one is a carrier communication. So what is a baseband communication? So baseband communication is a type of communication that doesn't need any sort of modulation for transferring the information, and the signal that is transmitted it's said to be baseband signal or a message signal. Baseband signal have sizable power, so it has to be transferred through a wire or a wireless cable or a fiber. A basic example of a baseband communication is a two people talking with each other when they are in front of each other. So whenever you're talking or whenever we are sharing information without any modulation, that type of communication is called as a baseband communication. And baseband signal is a message signal, and the information is transferred in the way it is generated. So when two people are talking, the person is this first person is a transmitter and the second one is a receiver. So the data transmitted from transmitter is received as it is by the receiver. So this type of communication is called as a baseband communication. The data is transferred in its actual fashion the way it is generated. The second type of communication is a carrier communication. So the type of communication which requires the modulation of a signal for its transmission is called as a carrier communication. In modulation, the original signal is superimposed on a carrier signal with a higher frequency range and which can be easily transmitted through an antenna. So this is an example. Whenever we need to transfer or whenever we need to transfer a data over a longer distance, we need some carrier. So in this example, a person is talking on a microphone. So by when we go for a microphone or when we go for a speaker, whenever we need to address a large person and the people who are far away from that, so in that case we need a loudspeaker to speak on it. So that type of communication is called as a carrier communication, where we need a carrier to carry our signal or carry our message. That is called as a carrier communication. And second example of carrier communication is whenever we are talking on a phone. So here if you want to communicate with a person who is far away from you, in that case we need a mobile phone. So the mobile phone or the medium is a carrier. So this type of communication, or this is an example of a carrier communication. The basic need of carrier communication is to address a large people, and the second one is to transfer a data over a longer distance. So for that we go for a carrier. We need a carrier to carry our information. So these are the examples of a communication system. So first example is two-person talking on a mobile phone. Second example is our radio communication or our television communication. So this is a broadband type of communication, broadcasting. So the recording took place at one place, and from that we are transferring the signal to to the antenna, and from that station the data is transferred to the television. So this all are the examples of a communication system which we are using in day-to-day life. Block diagram of a communication system. So the basic block of a communication system is a source. So source is a point from where the data or the information is generated. After source, the next block is an input transducer. So as you all know, transducer are used to convert any form of signal into electrical signal. So why we need a transducer in this case? The source whichever we are having is the source of information which generates the information. So like the information which we are having is in form of sound, or it can be a video or a audio. So we need to convert that data, or whatever data we are having, we need to convert that data into an electrical signal, and for that we are using this input transducer. After input transducer, the next block is a transmitter. So what this transmitter will do, whatever is the input data we are having, it converts that data into a suitable format, and then it will transfer the data over a channel. So the channel can be a wired channel or a wireless channel depending upon the condition. After transmitter, so here we are having an electrical signal. That electrical signal is modulated and it is converted into electromagnetic signal by the transmitter, and then it is transferred over the channel, and after channel at the receiver we are having, so the receiver receives the signal and then it will demodulate the signals. It removes the noise from the signal and give that signal to the output transducer. So whatever is my input signal we are having, and that data is again recovered back to its actual information, and then we are having a destination. So destination is the last point where the information is recollected or the received. So this all are the base are the blocks of a basic block diagram of a communication system. We are having a source, we are having an input transducer, we are having a transmitter. After that we are having a channel. Channel can be wired or wireless, and in the channel is a point where the noise gets added, and after channel we are having a receiver, we are having output transducer, and then we are having a destination. Then the components of the communication system. So the a typical communication system is compressed of the following components. First one is the source, input transducer, transmitter, channel, receiver, output transducer, and the destination. So let's have a brief discussion on each and every point. So the first is the information source. So the communication system serves to communicate a message or information. This information originated in the information source. In general, there can be various message in the form of words, group of words, codes, symbols, sound, electrical signals, anything. So the information can be in any form. It can be in digital format or it can be in the analog format. However, out of this message, whatever we are having, only the desired message is selected and communicated. Therefore, we can say that the function of information source is to produce a required message which has to be transmitted. After source, we are having a first block, and that block is called as the input transducer. So, as we all know, transducer is a device which converts one form of energy into the another form. So, if my information is in form of a sound, or it can be in form of a code or group of code, anything we are having, so we need to convert that information in a suitable form that is acceptable by the transducer, that is acceptable by the transmitter to do modulation and to transfer the data. So for that we need an input transducer. The message from the information source may or may not be electrical in the nature. In a case when the message produced by the information source is not electrical in nature, an input transducer is used to convert it into the time varying electrical signals. For example, just take an example. In case of a radio broadcasting, the microphone converts the information. So generally a person speak in a microphone, and that microphone, what that microphone will do, it converts the information that is in that is in form of a speech or the message in the form of a sound wave into the corresponding electrical signal. So the microphone is a transducer in that case, which converts the speech signal into the equivalent electrical signals. After that we are having a next block, that's a transmitter. So the function of a transmitter is to produce an electrical signal from different aspects. In wire telephony, no real processing is needed. However, in long distance radio communication, that is in case of a carrier communication, signal amplification is necessary before modulation. And modulation is a main function of a transmitter. In modulation, the message signal is superimposed upon the high frequency carrier signal. In short, we say that inside the transmitter, signal processing such as restriction of range of audio frequency and amplification and modulation of a signals are achieved. Then the next we are having a channel and the noise. So whenever the word channel come along with the channel, noise is there. Noise is an unremoved or noise is a part that we cannot remove, and by default whenever we are transferring a signal from one point to another, it gets contaminated by some form of noise only. So the term channel means that the medium through which the message travels from the transmitter to the receiver. Noise is an unwanted signal which tends to interface with the required signal. Noise signal is always random in character. So here is example, 2%, this is your sender, this one is a receiver. So whenever sender sends the data to the receiver, it gets contaminated by the noise. Receiver, now this is the second section. So the receiver, the main function is to receiver is to reproduce the message signal in electrical form, and that the distorted this production of the original signal is accomplished by the process known as a demodulation or the detection. Demodulation is a reverse process of a modulation carried out in the transmitter. So the way we did modulation at the transmitter, the exactly opposite is done at the receiver end. Now the destination. So the destination is the final stage which is used to convert an electrical message signal into the original format. The basic block or the basic function used at the destination is a speaker. So speakers are or the loudspeakers which work as a transducer, and that it converts the electrical signal in the form of a original sound signal. Then we are having now based on the message signal. So we are having a source, and the source is a message signal. So based on the signal, we are having various types of message signal. So what is the signal means? So the signal is an electromagnetic or the electrical current that carries the data from one system or network to another. In electronics, a signal is often a time varying voltage that is also an electromagnetic wave carrying information. Though it can take on another form such as a current or a voltage. There are two main types of signals used in electronics, that is analog and the digital signals. So the types of message signals are: the message signal can be analog in nature or it can be the digital. By default, every signal in this nature is analog. So the sound signal which we are or the speech which we are using is an analog signal, and the data which is generated by computers are digital data. So we are having messages. The message is either analog in nature or it can be digital in the nature. So what is mean by analog message? So analog signal is a time varying and they generally bound to a range of voltage, that's a plus volt to minus 12 volt. But there is an infinite number of values within that continuous range. So this is a continuously varying signals whose range is from positive plus 12 volt to minus 12 volt. An analog signal uses a given property of a medium to convey the signal information such as electricity moving through a wire. In an electrical signal, the voltage, current, or frequency of a signal may be varied to represent the information. Analog signals are often calculated responses to change in the light, sound, temperature, position, pressure, or other physical phenomena. So, these all are the examples of the analog signals where there's a change in the light or a sound or the temperature, position, pressure, or any other physical phenomena. Then the examples of analog signals are, so here is an example. We are having a transmitter, we are having a receiver. So if the data which is transferred is in continuous in the nature, it is called as an analog signal. So see, this is analog signal. So there is a change in a frequency or there's a change in a phase, but the signal is in continuous, not a discrete signal. So therefore those type of signals are called as an analog signal. Second type of message is a digital message. So a digital signal or the digital message is a signal that represents data as a sequence of discrete values. See here, the data is not continuous, it is a discrete value, and the digital signal can only take any one of the value from the finite set of possible value at a given time. So at a particular instant of time, it is having only one set of value, not all sets of value. With digital signal, the physical quantity representing the information can be many things like uh, variable electrical current or voltage values. Digital signals are used in all digital electronics, including computing equipments and data transmission devices. When plotted on the voltage versus time graph, digital signals are one of the two values and are usually between 0 volt and VCC. Usually the values are 1.8 volt, 3.3 volt, or 5 volt. Most of the time it is 5 volt. So that is a representation of a digital data. We are having a data which is represented either 0 or VCC. So VCC value is 1.8 volt or 3.3 volt or 5 volt. Whereas in case of analog signals, we have seen the data is from minus 12 to plus 12, and it is considering each and every instead of value. But here the value is from 1.8 volt to 3.3 volt or a 5 volt. And the digital message example is given. So here a digital signal is shown over here. So it is having the data which is represented by 0 and plus 1. So this 1 is nothing but your 5 volt, as we have seen in the previous slide, and the values are either 0 or plus 5. So whenever the data is plus 5, it is represented by logic 1. So we are having the data like 0 1 0 0 1 0 1 1. So it is having a two distinct values, that is plus 5 and 0. Whereas in case of analog, if you have we have just seen, it is having the values that are instantaneously changing from minus 12 volt to the plus 12 volt. the difference between analog and digital messages. So the first is analog signal is continuous signal that represent physical measurement. Digital signals are time separated signals which are generated using digital modulations. It is denoted by sine wave. It is denoted by square wave. It uses a continuous range of values that help you to represent information. Digital signal uses discrete 0 and 1 to represent the information. Examples are temperature sensors, FM radio signals, photo cells, etc. Example of digital signals are computers, CD, DVDs are some of the example of a digital signal. The analog signal bandwidth is low, whereas the bandwidth of a digital signal is high. Analog signals are more contaminated by noise through the transmission as well as by writing and reading, whereas the digital signals are having a less immunity to the noise. Next is bandpass and baseband and bandpass signal. So one of the important thing is for a successful communication to occur, three key components are present: it's the sender, receiver, and the communication channel. But there is one more to the whole communication system, just sending and receiving. There is a modulation and demodulation. So based on that, we are having a two types of signals. First one is a baseband signal, and second one is a band pass signal. So uh, this classification is of a signal is completely based on modulation and demodulation. Okay, whereas the first classification of a signal is based on the type of message we are using or the type of source signal which we are using. So based on that, we are having a two categories as analog message and digital message, and based on use of modulation or demodulation, we are having a classification as a baseband signal and a bandpass signal. So what is a baseband signal? So baseband signals, also known as a low pass signal, is a signal in a near zero frequency range generated from the information sources. It is related to digital signal transmission in which the whole bandwidth carrier only one data signal at a time. In other words, every signal requires an exclusive piece of the shared medium. For example, if I'm using a media, no one else could be able to use it, and they have to wait for their turn to use the media. So that is a baseband signal where the media is dedicated to only one person. Second person has to wait, and the signal is having a low frequencies. The baseband signal, as the name suggests, refer to the original transmission signal without any modulation, or there is no high frequency used. In other words, the transmission signals can be demodulated to its original frequency. Simply putting, baseband refer to the transmission signal before modulation with a frequency much lower than the signal post modulation. This example of a baseband transmission. Here you are having a channel. So this is my say transmitter and this one is my receiver. So the information is transferred as it is by the channel. So this is a digital signal which is passed through the channel, and at a one time only one signal is transferred. So if another computer or another device want to share this channel, it has to wait until this communication completes. So this is about the baseband transmission. Second one is a bandpass signal or a bandpass transmission. So bandpass signal refers to the filtered signal or modulated signal in which the frequency or the phase of a carrier signal is modulated to the transmit the bit. It is based on concept of digital data transmission post modulation of a high frequency sinusoidal carrier. It changes some of the properties of a carrier wave such as frequency or amplitude with respect to the data signal or with respect to the input signal, and the data which is transferred is in form of a higher carrier frequency. The baseband signal has its frequency spectrum concentrated around the carrier frequency. They are ideal for communication channel with frequency response equivalent to the bandpass response effect. Similarly to the wireless transmission, baseband signals are normally used at higher frequency and for longer distance transmission. So as an example, so input signal, we are having input data, digital signal. The input digital data is converted into analog form. If you are having data which is in analog form, no need to use this converter. And on that analog signal, we are performing some type of modulation. So here the modulation which was performed is an amplitude modulation. We are changing the amplitude, and then that modulated signal is passed through the bandpass channel, and at the receiver end, we are converting that modulated signal back to the original format. So this is an example of a bandpass transmission. So here this channel is also shared by multiple users also. Difference between baseband and bandpass. So the first is it is referred to the original signal generated from the source. Any parameter of the carrier signal is varied in accordance with the modulating signal or in accordance with the original signal. The signal is transmitted or signal frequency. The transmission requires multiplexing of several frequencies simultaneously. See, here we are doing multiplexing of multiple frequencies simultaneously. Here we are transferring only a single frequency. The full bandwidth of the baseband signal carries only one signal here, whereas the system carries multiple signals simultaneously. The example of a baseband signals are audio or video signals. Here the examples are AM, FM and PM signals. Repeaters. So repeaters is one of the interesting point that is used in communication. So what is a repeaters? So in telecommunication, a repeater is an electronic device that receives the signal and retransmit it. So as its name indicates, repeater. So it receives the signal and retransmit it. Repeaters are used to extend the transmission so that the signal can cover longer distance or be received on another side of the obstacle. So here if you are transferring a data from one point to another, in between we are having a repeaters. So what this repeater will do, it will just receive the data and it will recover, it will retransmit the data again. And because of this the range of communication increases. So if you want to transfer a data over a very long distance, in between we use the repeaters so that the strength of the signal is recovered. So for analog system, repeaters are simply amplifiers and are used to boost the signal strength along with the transmission path. Here the noise is not amplified, only the actual signal is amplified. Block diagram of a repeater. So this is a block diagram of a repeater. So we are having a transmitter and we are having a receiver, and in between is a repeater signal. So what this repeater signal will do, it will just take the data and it will boost this data after a particular period of a time. But in case of analog, along with the signal, it also boosts the strength of the signal. Therefore the signal to noise ratio, the effect of noise is much in case of analog signal compared to the digital signals. Now, the second type of repeaters are the regenerative repeaters, and these are the special repeaters which are used in a digital system. So, in digital system, the repeater detects and regenerates the clean signal. See, in case of analog, we don't bother about the noise. The noise also gets amplified, but in case of digital signal, we also care about the digital signal. So, therefore, this type of special repeaters are used, and these repeaters are called as a regenerative repeaters, which detects and regenerates a clean signal, that's a noise-free signal, along with the transmission channel called as a regenerative repeaters, and are used on wired line, fiber or wireless transmission systems. Regenerative repeater consists of a demodulator, detectors and the transmitter. If the error occurs in the detector, this error in is propagated forward. The block diagram of a regenerative repeater. So these are the blocks of a regenerative repeater. Here we are taking example of a PCM, that is one of the type of digital modulation. So here the first block is a amplitude equalizer. The output of an amplitude equalizer is given to the decision making device along with the timing circuit. So this all are the block. So here we first focus on the equalization of amplitude, and then there is a decision making device. So what this decision making device will do, it will decide whether the received signal is 1 or 0 based on a threshold value. So explanation, the signal when provided to the generative repeaters, the equalizer circuit at the beginning performs a reshaping of the distorted signal. Then at the same time, a timing circuit generates a pulse train, that is the derivative of the input signals. And this pulse train is then utilized by the decision making device in order to sample the pulse. This sampling is done at the instant where the maximum signal to noise ratio can be achieved. In this way, the decision making device generates a distortion less wave. So the repeaters which are used in digital communication for the digital signals also bother about the logic of a noise, and therefore the effect of noise is less in case of a digital system or digital signals compared to the analog. In analog system, the repeaters are generally amplifier which receive the signal, amplify it and retransmit it, whereas in case of digital signals, along with it bother about the amplitude, its first job is to equalize, or its first job is to reshaping of the distorted signal, and once the reshaping is done, it will form or it will regenerate the data in its actual format, it's ones and zeros. So thank you all for patience listening to this lecture. Thank you so much.